Hey guys, it's Anna and welcome to my channel. Today's video is a very spring inspired makeup look. It just turned spring, I believe. Can I look at my calendar? I think on the 13th. I'm so weird. I don't know why that helps me see farther. I'm just like, here are my binoculars. It actually helps me. Like, it's not, I don't know. Anyway, so I thought it would be a good time to give my take on a spring makeup look. And I've been drinking a lot of lemonade lately. We just hosted a baby shower yesterday, so we have a bunch of lemonade in the house. And that just reminded me of when I was a kid, my siblings and I would set up a lemonade stand right on the sidewalk at the edge of the street, and we would sell lemonade. And we would purposefully dress in like really cute outfits and sing and dance in order to get people to pull over, and people would always be like, oh, you guys are so cute, and we're just like, thank you. Anyway, here's my take on a springtime makeup tutorial, very much strawberry lemonade inspired, and I also decided to go with faux freckles for today. I've never done them in my life. It's very different for me. I feel like I look like a totally different person, but I like them. I think they're cute. So if you guys want to know how I got this makeup look, then go ahead and keep watching. So before I go in with the eyes, as I usually do, my face is parched right now, so I'm going to go ahead and prime. This is the Milani Prime Light Face Primer. It's for strobing and pore minimizing. I don't see anything in regards to pore minimizing. I'm still trying to make up my mind about this primer. I like it. I'm just not like over the moon in love with it. It does help a little bit with the hydration of my skin. It's a thin formula and it has these tiny little sparkles in here, so I feel like it doesn't give that pearlescent like strobing effect so much. I'm not in love with it. For some reason, I just don't see like the biggest difference in the world with it. I feel like there are better glowy primers at the drugstore, like the L'Oreal Magic Lumi and the Wet n Wild Dewy Primer. Hands down, favorite drugstore primer. I've been using it nonstop for like a week and a half. I can't put it down. So for today's palette, I'm going to be using the Colourpop Yes Please palette. I'm obsessed with this palette. Like, I just want to collect so many of the Colourpop palettes because their formula, it's ridiculously good, especially considering the price. So I'm going to start off with the shade Full Zip. And with a big old packing brush, I'm just going to apply this all over the lid to set down that concealer. And then for my transition shade, I'm going to pick up the shade Note to Self. And I'm not going to go crazy with this color. I want this to be a really nice, soft wash of color. So I'm just dusting this on with a very light hand, not a lot of product on my brush at all. And I'm bringing just a little bit out because I do want it to be just a tiny bit smoky. Not smoky as in dark, but just kind of blown out. Then I'm going to pick up this beautiful bright yellow. This is in the shade Mischief. So I'm basically going to be putting this all over the lid, but I don't really need to apply in the outer corner because we're going to deepen it with a brown in a little bit. So now I'm taking that same brown Note to Self shade, and I'm going to apply this in the outer corner. Very soft amount. I don't want this to be too harsh. And then I'll drag some over in the crease as well. So for foundation, I'm going to be using the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Foundation Stick. This is in the shade Y315. I finally have my perfect shade. The first time I tried this, I looked ghostly. So I'm just going to apply a bunch of stripes all around my face. And the cool thing about stick foundations is that you can really control how much coverage you want with your foundation, you know, depending on how many lines you throw on your face. I mean, I guess you can control your coverage with liquid foundations too. You just put on more. Now, when it comes to this foundation, I have a trick that I use every single time I use this foundation, and it works wonders. It literally takes this foundation from like 50 to 100. So this foundation is the most skin-like looking foundation I've ever tried in my life. It looks so incredibly beautiful on the skin, but I find that it doesn't last the longest. It's not like it doesn't last at all. It has, I believe, like a 6-ish hour wear time, which for some people is like great and fine, but for me, I wake up early in the morning to get ready for school, and I'm a closer at Starbucks, so I need my foundation on from like 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., so I really need my foundations to last a long time, and this just doesn't cut it for me. So I learned this trick sort of from Jaclyn Hill. She uses a dewy setting spray on her sponge and then uses that to blend in her foundation foundation to give her like a nice dewy, glowy complexion. But when it comes to this foundation, I use the Urban Decay All Nighter, which really locks in your makeup, really makes it last a super long time. And when I spray this on my sponge and then I blend out my foundation with it, this will make this foundation last all day long. And every single time I use this foundation, this is the trick I use. So if you have a foundation that you love, but it's just not lasting real well, I would definitely recommend trying this trick. And then I'll usually spray my sponge like 2 to 3 times so that I really get that all-nighter spray all over my face. And I have another foundation tip for you guys. So you know how you will use pretty much like one side of your sponge to blend out your foundation, and then when you get to the hairline, you really want to blend that foundation into the hairline so you're not getting like a distinct line. What I like to do is flip to the clean side of the sponge and use the clean side to put into the hairline so you're not getting all of this foundation that's still on your sponge and dragging that into your hairline. This is just going to make sure you have that nice clean blend. You're not getting all of this makeup in your hair, and yet it's still blending it into the hairline. And then for my concealer, I'm going to be using one of my all-time favorite concealers. This is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. This is in the shade Fair. I do wish it didn't have a sponge applicator. It's a little bit annoying. I'd rather just have a doe foot applicator, but the formula, you can't argue with it. It's freaking amazing. This concealer blends out in literal seconds. I remember a while back I did like a full face of no blending makeup challenge, and I used this concealer in that video, and even though I wasn't blending, it was just like applying it and like tap, tap, tap. It literally blended itself out. This concealer is amazing. And to set my concealer down, I'm going to be using the Collab Set the Stage Ultra Fine Loose Setting Powder in the shade Porcelain Ivory. And then to set the rest of my face in place, I'm using the Body Shop's All-in-One Face Base, and this is in the shade 04. And then to both contour and bronze, normally I don't use this as a contour, but whatever, we're just going to go with a warm complexion today. This is the Rimmel Sun Bronze Waterproof Bronzing Powder. No idea if this is actually waterproof. I don't really ever plan on swimming with makeup on, because I feel like waterproof makeup, it's like, okay, yeah, it's like water resistant maybe, but completely waterproof? I feel like it's a little gimmicky. This is a good drugstore bronzer. It's not one of my all-time favorites, but I do like it. Like, I don't have any negatives about it. I feel like this is a really good bronzer if you like to build up your bronzer and you don't like a whole bunch of pigment right off the bat. I do have to go in a few times to get the amount of bronze that I want, just because I'm a huge bronzer fanatic. It blends itself out really nicely. It just doesn't have that super ultra creamy, like airbrushed type of formula that I'm always obsessed with. There's so many good makeup products on the market, but when I talk about like my all-time favorite products and I want to recommend like the best of the best to you guys, my like best of products aren't going to be like, yeah, this is good, this is good. Like, it's truly going to be like the best of, and I'm so excited because I want to start like a drugstore series on my channel of like the best of, like bronzers, highlighters, blushes, foundations, all of that stuff. It is going to take me a while to do though, just because I have a lot of makeup products to try out, but I am going to be starting off with bronzers because that's something that I definitely own a lot of, and bronzers, that's just like my forte and one of my all-time favorite makeup products. I have a bunch of bronzers coming in the mail right now from Ulta. I'm stoked. Also, I feel like no one on YouTube talks about this bronzer makeup tip. I feel like constantly people are reminding you like, oh, bring down the bronzer a little bit on your neck just to make sure it's all matching up, because you know you're adding some down here. You don't want it just to be dark here. You want to bring it down as well. Don't forget to get the back of your neck as well. Otherwise, you're going to get out of the house and you're going to look like Ross in that one episode from Friends when he gets a spray tan and like the front of him is all dark and the back of him is all white. Now, if any of you guys were ever wondering what my favorite blush was ever in the world, it's the Anastasia Peachy Love Blush Trio. This is me in a blush. Like, holy crap, I'm 1000% in love with every single shade in this palette. I'm so obsessed. Like, peachy blushes are my all-time favorite blushes, and these tones are just perfection. Like, I absolutely love them, and I truly use this blush all of the time, and I noticed that I've never featured it in a tutorial before. I talk about it all the time on my channel, but I've never actually featured it before. So what I normally like to do is mix these two colors just because the pans are a bit small. I love all three of them though, but I feel like I generally aim towards this direction. The most beautiful, youthful spring summer flush to the cheeks. And I'm not much of a blush person, but when I whip out this blush, I don't want to stop applying it. Now for a little bit of a more editorial funky twist, I'm going to be using the Jeffree Star Summer Snowcone highlighter. This is limited edition from his summer collection, but I'm pretty sure, like 90% sure it's still on his website because it still was when I last checked. And I know it looks super intimidating in the pan, but when you apply it, it's honestly beautiful. It does not look that yellow. It does have that tint of yellow gold to it, of course, but it just gives you a little bit of a more different kind of vibe. However, if you are fair, I feel like it would be a little bit more difficult to pull this off just because it probably will come out yellow on your skin. So I just highlighted in the usual places. I did this area over here and my chin. I always do this when I want a super glowy look. If not, I will skip this step, and then I always do my nose and my cupid's bow. So moving back to the eyes, I'm going to take this yellow and I'm going to pop this in the inner corner and kind of connect it with the yellow that we have on the lid, and then bring it down a little bit in the inner portion of the lower lash line. And then taking Note to Self, which is the brown that we used, I'm just going to put this on the rest of the lower lash line and make sure to connect it with the brown up here. So I just applied some Summer Snow Cone right underneath the brow bone, and then some mascara. Of course, this is the Tarte Tarteist Lash Paint Mascara. And then for something a little fun, because why not, I want to try faux freckles. This might look terrible. I've never even attempted this before. Here we go. So this is the Colourpop Brow Boss. This is in the shade light brown, and I'm just gonna hopefully not sabotage this makeup look. But I thought it would add a little like funky cute detail to the look. I literally don't see anything happening. A little harder if I press it. I'm going to try my IT Cosmetics Brow Power in the shade Universal Taupe instead, because the other one just isn't really showing up. So I feel like I have a decent amount of freckles on. I'm actually like living for it. I think it looks so cute. I mean, it doesn't look like super natural yet. So I'm going to take my sponge and just stamp over them to diffuse them, make them look a little bit softer. All right, I'm happy with them. I think they look so cute. Like, I really feel like a totally different person with freckles. I do have a few scattered around my face. Like, I have several on this side, one over here, but I like it. It's cute. And then for lips, this is where the strawberry part of the strawberry lemonade comes in. I'm going to be using the Kylie Cosmetics Dazzle Lip Liner. And then I'm going to be using her Velvet lipstick, also in the shade Dazzle. I've been using this non-stop. When I put this on for the first time, I was like, holy crap, wow, that is a lip color. It is so... It's honestly the most beautiful spring summer lip color. I'm obsessed with it. It has this like warm raspberry, strawberry feel to it. I got so many compliments when I wore it, and I'm in love with her Velvet Lip formula. I highly recommend it. It's really good. And then to set it all in place, I'm going to be using my Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. Alright, you guys, so this is the final completed strawberry banana. It could be strawberry banana, actually. I was going for strawberry lemonade. Why can I not think today? But either would work, so whichever you prefer. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to give this one a big thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already. If you might want to see me in any more videos, I would appreciate it so, so much. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!